In 1940s America, racial exclusion was physically codified into the hospital floor plans. The medical system functioned on the premise that Black and white populations were biologically separate and therefore unequal. The onset of World War II created a logistical emergency that the segregated system couldn't solve. He proved that blood plasma could be separated and stored indefinitely, creating a stable resource for emergency transfusions. He scaled this discovery into the world's first national blood bank system. His protocols for collection, testing, and distribution provided the literal lifeline for millions of Allied soldiers. The irony arrived at the donation center. When Dr. Drew attempted to donate his own blood, the very system he designed to save the military rejected him. Segregation laws barred his blood from being used in the white hospitals that were currently surviving on his research. The system required his genius to function, yet it maintained laws specifically designed to exclude his body from the benefits of that genius. This dynamic extended into the research labs of the 1950s. At institutions like Johns Hopkins, Black patients were frequently treated as biological data points, with their tissue harvested for study without their knowledge or consent. In 1951, doctors took a biopsy from Henrietta Lacks while she was being treated for cancer. They didn't ask her permission, and they didn't tell her family. In the lab, her cells did something no other human cells had ever done. They survived. Most human cells die after a few divisions, but Henrietta's replicated indefinitely. They became the first immortal human cell line. Because her DNA provided a stable, infinite testing ground, scientists developed the polio vaccine, advanced cancer research, and mapped the human genome. Modern pharmacology is now built on the foundation of stolen genetic material from a woman whose family was denied basic recognition. To maintain these hierarchies, lawmakers relied on the one-drop rule. The legal logic was simple. Any detectable amount of Black ancestry permanently disqualified a person from the rights and status of whiteness. However, modern genetic mapping shows all human lineages converge in Africa. Mitochondrial DNA proves every human alive today descends from a single African woman 200,000 years ago. This genetic inheritance is the physical baseline for our entire species. This creates a terminal contradiction in the logic of supremacy. If the legal definition of a drop of blood is applied to our shared biological reality, the very concept of racial purity used to enforce segregation collapses under the weight of its own rules. This resilience has a documented biological correlation. Research into the DRD4-7R allele suggests that the extreme selective pressures of survival during enslavement and systemic exclusion actually favored traits for high-level inventive cognition and adaptive resilience. The result is a measurable data anomaly. When researchers adjusted for access to resources, they found that Black Americans produce 42% more patents than their population share would predict. This output isn't limited to technology. It moved through culture and intellectual property, creating a legacy of innovation that the entire world adopted as its own, even while maintaining systems of exclusion. History shows a recurring pattern of white rage. The rapid implementation of new laws like Jim Crow or mass incarceration, precisely when these periods of Black progress become most undeniable. The data suggests that systemic attempts to suppress this population didn't lead to failure, but instead forced a level of high-stakes innovation that the modern world now relies on to survive today. The attempt to erase this history has failed because the evidence is written into the foundation of the modern world, from the medicine we take to the technologies we use. There is a massive archive of Black genius, patents, inventions, and wealth that has been strategically obscured or separated from its originators. The shift now is toward reclaiming that intellectual property. The evidence shows that building generational wealth and securing ownership isn't just an aspiration, it's the logical next step in a history of unavoidable innovation. To those who continue to doubt this impact, the evidence remains in the blood banks, the vaccine labs, and the genetic code of every person on Earth. Every major civilization and scientific breakthrough we've discussed traces back to these same origins. The world didn't just evolve around Black brilliance, it was built on it.